Ladies and gentlemen, we're back at it. A new week, a fresh start, and most importantly, Celtic are returning to action. After what felt like an endless and fairly grim international break, especially for the Scotland fans out there, it's finally time to turn our attention back to club football. Honestly, it's good to be home, good to be back chatting about Celtic, but I won't lie to you, we've got a bit of a mixed bag today. Some transfer chatter to lift the mood, sure, but we've also got some really worrying news about our number one between the sticks, Kasper Schmeichel. Let's not dance around it. This morning, like many of you, I woke up to headlines that felt like a punch to the gut. Kasper Schmeichel rushed to hospital. Not exactly the kind of news you want to see when you're still half asleep. The Danish shotstopper, who's become a massive part of Celtic's spine this season, was taken to hospital after sustaining an injury in Denmark's match against Portugal. Now I know international duty comes with its risks, but this one feels particularly bitter, and for good reason. Reports from Danish outlet Bold and echoed across various sources confirm that Schmeichel suffered the injury late in the match. Apparently he landed awkwardly. It looked like a shoulder issue, and despite clearly being in serious pain, he had to stay on the pitch for the remaining 15 minutes of extra time. Why? Because Denmark were out of substitutions. You could see it in his body language, the way he struggled to his feet, the grimace on his face. Everything pointed to this being more than just a knock. It wasn't just a niggle, it looked like something proper. And here's the thing, it didn't have to happen. That's the most frustrating part for us as Celtic fans. The injury came from a play that was in the end ruled offside. But thanks to the absurd rule we've got in football these days, where the assistant referee keeps their flag down until the end of the phase, Schmeichel ended up throwing himself into a situation that shouldn't even have occurred. If the flag had gone up when it should have, we wouldn't be talking about this. The keeper wouldn't have made the save, wouldn't have landed funny, and wouldn't be in a hospital bed. It's one of those rules that fans across Europe, across all levels of football, have been calling out for a while now. Everyone sees the danger. Everyone sees the nonsense, but UEFA, FIFA, the rule makers, they just won't listen. They insist on this delayed offside flag nonsense, and now we've got a keeper in real pain, potentially out for weeks or months, all because a flag didn't go up in time. Now look, I'm not saying with 100% certainty that Kasper wouldn't have been injured otherwise. Of course we can't know that. Maybe he'd have pulled something 5 minutes later, who knows? But come on, the chance of this happening drops dramatically if the play's blown dead when it should have been. Instead, we've got a guy who toughed out 15 minutes of football in visible agony, and now both Denmark and Celtic are left waiting for scan results. And I tell you this, Kasper Schmeichel isn't the type to roll around or milk an injury. He's an experienced pro, a tough lad who's seen a lot in the game. So if he's needing to be helped off and rushed straight to hospital after the final whistle, you know it's something serious. The Danish manager even said he would have taken him off if he could. That says everything. So where does that leave us then? We're heading into one of the most crucial parts of the season. Cup semifinals, league deciders, possibly a derby on the horizon. And there's a real chance we might be without our number one. There's whispers it could be a dislocated shoulder, maybe a fracture. The truth is we won't know until Brendan Rodgers speaks later in the week. But judging by how it looked, how he moved, and the fact he needed immediate medical attention, it doesn't look good. And what makes it sting even more is that Kasper's been brilliant this season. Solid presence at the back, commanding, vocal, exactly what you need in those pressure moments. And to think we might have to go into this run without him, that's tough. It's a huge blow. Of course it opens the door for Vasilis Barkas. Sorry, I meant Viamas Salo force of habit there, who may be called into action this weekend against Hearts. And to be fair, fans have been curious to see what he's got in his locker. He's barely had a sniff since arriving, so this might be his chance to prove a point. But still, you'd rather have Kasper fit, wouldn't you? The timing couldn't be worse. We're on the cusp of a potential treble chase. Momentum matters, and the backline, as settled as it's been now, faces a massive question mark. That chemistry. That understanding between keeper and defense is not something you replace overnight. And if this does turn out to be a long-term injury, you can bet Celtic's recruitment team will already be weighing up emergency options, or at the very least reshuffling things behind the scenes. Now, I don't want to sound too doom and gloom. There's still a chance this isn't as bad as it looked. Maybe it's a sprain, maybe a couple of weeks rest and he's back. But there's also a very real chance that we've seen the last of Kasper this season. That's the knife's edge we're on right now. And it's all the more gutting knowing it was avoidable, a stupid rule, a delayed flag, and now potentially a huge piece of our squad is missing, so now we wait. Friday can't come soon enough. That's when we're expecting Brendan to give an update, hopefully with some clarity, maybe even a bit of optimism. But until then, we're left to speculate and frankly worry. Because for a club in our position chasing silverware, every piece matters. And your goalkeeper. That's not just a piece, that's your foundation. Let's just hope the news isn't as bad as it seems. Let's hope Casper's alright, because if not, it's going to be a rough few weeks ahead. Right then, let's shift gears a bit. From the hospital room to the rumor mill, it wouldn't be a proper week talking about Celtic without a bit of transfer speculation, would it? And I get it, we're not even close to the summer window opening yet, but that's not stopping the stories from popping up. This time the name doing the rounds is a wee bit of a belter. Elvis Rex Bekaj. That's right, Big Elvis. And let me just say before we go any further, I absolutely love the idea of a lad named Elvis rocking up at Parkhead. Feels like something written in the stars, doesn't it? Anyway, let's get into the meat of it. Reports out of Germany, particularly via the site Fussball Transfers, claim that Celtic are among a handful of clubs keeping close tabs on Rex Bekaj. The 27-year-old is currently at Augsburg doing bits in the Bundesliga, and from what we're hearing, he's at a bit of a crossroads. His contract runs until 2026, but there's talk that the club might look to cash in this summer. If a new deal isn't agreed. Makes sense, really. He'd only have a year left after that, and clubs don't want to lose value on players they know might be tempted to move on. So why the noise around Celtic? Well, if you've been paying attention lately, this isn't the first central midfielder we've been linked with. Just last week, it was Sadiq El Fittori from League 2, another defensive-minded player. And now here we are talking about Rex Bekaj. The pattern's pretty clear. Celtic are looking for reinforcements in the holding midfield role. Callum McGregor, as brilliant as he is, has been carrying a massive load in that position. We've got bodies in midfield eye, but not a lot of true natural holding players. And that's a gap we've been needing to fill for a while now. Now, as for Rex Bekaj himself, he's not some unknown quantity. This is a player with proper pedigree in German football. He came through at Wolfsburg, had a spell at Köln, and has been with Augsburg since 2022. He's made 20 appearances in the Bundesliga this season, all of them as a starter. That's no small feat, especially when you're playing in one of Europe's top leagues. And it's not just token minutes either. He's been a mainstay. In that midfield, a proper workhorse. Statistically, he's not going to blow your mind. 1 goal and 1 assist in the league this season, and another goal in the cup. But, to be fair, that's not really his game. Rex Bekaj is all about the graft. He's the kind of player who'll chase every ball, close down space win tackles, and do the dirty work that allows others to shine. Every team needs one, and Celtic could use someone just like that right now. He's also a Kosovo international, which tells you a bit about his character, not afraid to mix it up on the international stage. And look, I'm not going to pretend I've been watching every Augsburg game this season. Let's not kid ourselves, but from the highlights and reports, he seems to be a consistent, reliable presence in the heart of midfield. Tough in the L, tackle positionally aware, and not afraid to bark out instructions. The kind of guy you want in your engine room when the going gets tough. There's also a wee bit of familiarity there with Moritz Jens. Remember him, the German defender we had not long ago. Rex Bekaj and Jens were teammates at one point, and that kind of prior connection can sometimes make a difference when a club's looking to settle a new player quickly. Continuity matters, especially when you're trying to bring in someone to fit a very specific role. The big question now is whether there's real substance to this link or if it's just the usual transfer window noise. Because let's be honest, agents love this time of year. They float names, stir the pot, try to drum up interest. Sometimes it's genuine, sometimes it's all smoke. And clubs like Augsburg aren't daft. They know they've got a player who's got suitors. If they sense a chance to make a tidy, a bit of money, especially if he's not renewing, they'll take it. But here's the thing. This is exactly the kind of profile Celtic should be looking at. Someone with top-level experience still in his prime and available for a fee that won't break the bank. He's not coming in as some wonder kid project. He's a seasoned pro who could slot into the squad and make an impact from day one. And crucially, he could provide some much-needed rotation and cover for McGregor. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. You don't win trebles with a threadbare midfield. You need depth. You need players who can come in and keep standards high when the fixtures pile up. And while our attacking options have been bolstered over recent windows, the base of that midfield has been left a wee bit light. Bringing in someone like Rex Berkaj or even Sadiq from France, if that moves forward, signals intent. It tells us that the recruitment team sees what we all see, that we're one injury away from a real problem in the center of the park. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying Elvis walks into the team and pushes McGregor out. That's not happening. But having someone to rotate in to challenge to keep everyone sharp, that's priceless. And the added bonus of him already having that Bundesliga consistency under his belt, that's not to be sniffed at. It also helps that Augsburg are having a half-decent season. They're sitting in the top half of the Bundesliga, even pushing for a European spot, which tells you he's not just coasting in a mid-table side. He's part of a team playing at a decent level, and that competitive sharpness would serve him well if he made the move to Glasgow. Look, I know how this works. It's only March. The rumor mill's just warming up. There's gonna be 20 more names linked before the window opens. Some will be legit some absolute nonsense, but this feels like it has legs. A player in his prime available for a reasonable fee in a position where we desperately need options. That ticks a lot of boxes. So maybe Big Elvis does end up in the hoops. And if he does, I'm all for it. Get the shirts printed. Get the Presley puns ready. Because if he brings the grit and work rate he's known for, he could be a brilliant addition to the squad. Before we proceed, subscribe to our channel and enable notifications to receive all exclusive news about Celtic FC. Don't miss any details about your favorite team. It's extremely important for Celtic FC fans. In a development that has sent shockwaves through Scottish football, rumors are swirling that Celtic FC may face a 15-point deduction for alleged breaches of financial fair play FFP regulations. While no official confirmation has been provided, the mere suggestion of such a sanction has ignited fervent discussions among fans and analysts alike. The FFP regulations implemented by UEFA are designed to ensure that clubs operate within their financial means, promoting long-term sustainability and preventing financial mismanagement. These rules require clubs to balance their expenditures with their revenues, thereby avoiding excessive debt accumulation. Violations can lead to severe penalties, including fines, transfer bans, and point deductions. Should these rumors prove true, a 15-point deduction would significantly impact Celtic's standing in the Scottish Premiership, potentially altering the course of the title race and affecting European qualification prospects. This situation underscores the critical importance of financial compliance in modern football and serves as a stark reminder of the consequences that can arise from failing to adhere to established financial regulations. Hello, fan! Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, as it means a lot to Celtic FC. Also, share your opinion about the news in the comments below. See you in the next video.